Hello, Sarah Sabin, Executive Leadership and Intuition Coach here. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the difference between work ethic versus chronic busyness and three reasons why it would benefit you to get out of the trap of chronic busyness. So I will preface this video with I work with executives who are all very busy. That is the commonality between pretty much all of them. They are traveling on a monthly basis, sometimes long haul, they work long hours, etc. But there is a difference between doing that because it's called for and because you have a strong work ethic, which is obviously a really good thing to have that discipline and to have a strong work ethic versus chronic busyness, where you're basically creating extra things for you to do so that you can keep yourself busy. Now, when people get into the trap of chronic busyness, it tends to be because they're missing something internally. So it's almost like they're filling in time because they always feel behind and they're looking from that validation from everyone else around them by being able to say and seem like they are always busy. And we live in a society that celebrates that addiction to busyness. But it's really worth asking if that busyness is because you're seeking some kind of validation or for some other negative reason, or whether it is really productive busyness. Depending on the person, the percentage of chronic busyness might vary, but everyone will have an element within their day of things that actually are not really contributing to the biggest impact that they want to make, that they could delegate or delete. And here are three reasons why it's important for you to free up time. So, number one, rest and recovery is absolutely crucial to performance. If I was to use an analogy here, when you go to the gym, or even if you are an athlete, you will work out, you will train your body, and it's important that you build in one or two rest and recovery days into your schedule because it's during that time that your body repairs itself so that you can maximize the outcomes of your training. And it's the same thing with mental performance. So that rest and recovery time is really crucial for your brain, not only to access things like intuition and creativity, but also that mental downtime is crucial for you to be able to perform to the optimal level. So that's reason one. Reason two, if you're on a treadmill because you're seeking validation, you'll always be on the treadmill. So this can be quite a triggering thing for people. They're like, well, of course I'm not seeking validation. The chances are, if you're really resistant to what I'm saying, you probably are seeking some form of external validation. And hey, we all are. We're taught to derive satisfaction and a sense of self-worth from the external world. The problem is, if that is one of your primary motivators, you're always going to be on that treadmill because it's literally contributing to your sense of self-worth. And if you get off that treadmill, you can suddenly go into this thing of who am I? What am I doing? Which can be a bit of an emotional spiral. So sometimes it just feels easier to stay on that treadmill so you don't have to think or feel things too much. And the third reason to get out of this trap of chronic busyness is because you miss things when you're on the treadmill all the time. Because you have no space, You are literally trapped in the details of what you're doing all the time. You don't have the space to consider the bigger picture. You don't have the space to apply the Pareto principle, i.e., that means considering what are the 20% of activities you do that generate 80% of the results. You don't have the space for insight. You don't have the space for true intuition or creativity to come through because you are always in a beta brainwave state, which is an active brainwave state. So, as one action point that I can set you arising out of this video, I would just encourage you to look at what you're doing and really sit down and ask yourself some hard questions. Do I need to be doing all of the things that I'm doing? Or are some of these things unnecessary and can I remove them? Because greater success comes from learning to say no more.